Hey, it's Crystal Method. I wanted to bring some facts to you on this coronavirus. I don't know if a lot of people are taking it serious, but we all hear things a different way. And we're applying my method, and people pay attention to social media. And so here we are. First, I want to pray. And Lord, I want to ask you to please fill me with your Holy Spirit and guide me with this pen and this method to be filled with your words, Lord. And I thank you right now for loving me enough to give me this purpose of such an honor. Lord, I thank you. And I ask to be effective today for my words to be fulfilled, and I'm able to reach those in whom need you. Lord, thank you for all your ways. You have made available the resources that you've provided to allow me to be able to deliver your love. It is perfectly okay to be imperfect and to live in sin. I come from the comfort of my world, and through my many methods, hopefully have been able to reach out to many others. And to be honest, I'm quite scared, Lord, because I'm not sure what's real anymore. I might be disabled, but Lord, your name, I believe I will fight and I will claim. Honestly, I think you need to hurry because evil is moving so quickly. No one is sane anymore. Lord, this is to you direct. Sadly, it's the only thing I can believe in to come true at all. It's of things I cannot see. Lord, you're always providing in everything that I do, and I want to thank you. I want to pray over the ones that are sick, lost, and suffering, defeated, in pain, addicted, and this coronavirus. I challenge your soldier, warrior, angels, and I claim war in your name. Something keeps getting interrupted in your light, Lord, for so many. There's so much suffering. Please help me shed the light over those who need it. And I'm with your love and armor that you've already placed, and my knowledge is a weapon that I tend to fight with in your name. So I ask right now for the serenity prayer that Lord, please grant us the serenity to accept the things that we cannot change, the courage to change the things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Thank you. Amen. Okay, so I've been through so much different websites and videos and government officials, and the numbers, it's crazy because at one point in time I'll be doing it and get my notes down, and then in a matter of 2 hours the numbers had climbed. And I know news stations have different stuff sometimes, but they're given the same statistics, and they're saying that people aren't even checking in and giving the right numbers. And as a matter of fact, China got in trouble because they were withholding the truth on, the coronavirus. They were told to hush. I looked up what does this coronavirus COVID-19 mean. The word corona means crown. When examined closely, the round virus has a crown of proteins called floppers jutting, and out of the center, every direction which the proteins help the virus identify whether it can affect the host. The words are severe acute respiratory syndrome on the coronavirus. Yeah, severe acute respiratory syndrome coronavirus, which is two SARS. There's been 2 breaks in SARS. I'll get to that, but I believe one was in, I just wrote this down, 2003 or 2019. But they were under control, and they were stabilized. Everything was okay. They have not found a vaccine for the coronavirus yet that they're allowing us to know about. And ironically, Washington, D.C., or no, Washington, there's the city in here, is it seems to be the center of the outbreak here in the U.S. The name was chosen because it genetically is related to the coronavirus responsible for the SARS outbreak. And then, see my pretty stuff? It glows in the black light. See, it was named in February 11th, 2020, and the symptoms are severe acute respiratory, like a coughing, low-grade fever, and I'll get to all those, but there's two names when you have a virus, like the AIDS, HIV. The measles is rubella. It's a general structure to facilitate the origin, to diagnose it the best. Let's see. Diseases are named to enable discussion on disease prevention, spread, transfer, severity, preparedness, response. That's whose role. So disease is officially named by who the initial classification of disease. Now get this. The disease it starts in animals, and you have to have extremely close contact with animals in order to contract it. In 2003, the SARS outbreak, the virus had become contained and found successfully treatable. This isn't the first time the coronavirus had made news. In 2019, the virus was found in animals. There's been 46 confirmed cases. Total tested 472, 6 deaths. 4 were the night before, was about last night's number. And let's see, all deaths were at Evergreen in Seattle, Washington. There were elders. There was a student. There was 18 cases, including 6 deaths. So again, these are just some facts that I have gathered on many news stories. And remember, don't believe everything that you hear. The news is directed to be a specific way to control the mind control, and also everybody from freaking out. Everything is so twisted. Personally, my own news stories that I've had on them, they weren't even close to the right facts. So you have to use a scenario, like a survey, on how it makes you feel. But I will gain strength in what I hear, because over a period of time, do you need something? Over a period of time, what's wrong? Hello? What's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? Okay? Okay. However, I have some insight on this. I personally feel if you listen carefully and read between the lies, realize the reactions to their words. I don't feel like their responses and their words, it is that alone kind of makes it obvious. 4 people had died today. That was before midnight. 6 Americans. Rhode Island has a school closed for a week. 1 kid died. 75,000 tests will be available and will double within the week. And they still don't think they'll have enough. The first responders and medical staff are being monitored, and they're very vulnerable. In North Italy, possible, what is that, recessor? Yeah, recession. Recession. Italy doubled cases, and Italy has doubled its cases. 1,600 infected, 34 have died. Delta closed flights to Italy and France. In Rome, a priest comes up positive for the virus. He was waving to oncomers from his balcony, coughing, and now the church is closed. When I was writing this, the news, the most recent news had been 2 hours prior, and I've had to go back and correct my numbers. They've actually jumped. 44 people on the Diamond Princess cruise ship in Japan come up positive. Illinois confirms 4 cases, 2 sets of spouses in Chicago. Florida, 2 probable cases, 1 in Manatee County and 1 in Hillsborough County. Both traveled to Italy. There's been a case that was found. The gentleman hadn't even traveled nowhere, nor had been out. So my personal opinion is I think it wasn't an accident in some type of way. Let's see. There's been 160. Because it kept going up, I had to write over it. There's been 160 cases in the U.S. known, 6 deaths, 4 today, 89,000 in 62 countries, 8 added this weekend, including 90 Mexico and Dominican Republic. 90% of them are in China. The most recent U.S. states are New York, Florida, Rhode Island, California, Washington, D.C., and Illinois. Kirkland, Washington is the center of the outbreak. San Francisco Bay. It was quietly spreading for 6 weeks before anybody had even known about it. And it's contagious air, the wetness in the air, if you sneeze. They're saying don't buy masks, don't wear masks, save them for medical. There was 2 different news stories. One of them said save it for the medical staff, and the other one said that it's not necessary. That kind of was a big thing that can't have it contradicted. The 2 deaths in Seattle were 2 men, 50 and 70. Neither one of them had traveled. 13 test positive in Washington, including a post office worker and a student, per the U.S. officials broadcast on that one. A woman in New York in her 30s is self-quarantined. She had previously traveled to Iran. Other countries, Iran stated 500 new cases today, which was before midnight. Less than 1,000 on Sunday. There's been 60 deaths. China's numbers are the lowest on their cases that it has been. South Korea, more than 4,000. South Korea, more than 4,000. 60% of Korea's affected cases have apologized for the spread of the disease. Europe raised its alert to moderate to high. Italy's infections jumped 50% in 24 hours. France, 2 more cases. England, 4 new cases. In the UK, 40 traveled to Italy. The symptoms are cough and a low-grade fever, shortness of breath. Basically, as a sinus infection or upper respiratory, they're common cold. Wash your hands a lot, they said. And if you're sick, don't go out. May carry the virus 2 days to 2 weeks before you show any symptoms. The virus developed in animals before developing in humans. For the virus to pass from animal to human, a person has to come into close contact with an animal that carries the infection. They were saying like bats had given it to the what is the animal called? Like either a snake or a pangolin. And I looked it up, and it's people consider them reptiles, but they're actually mammals with wholly covered Their whole body's covered in scales, which they use to protect themselves. They they eat ants and termites and larvae. They're known as the scaly anteater because they have no teeth. They use their sticky tongues, which can reach the length greater than the animal's body. Most are trafficked from Asia to Africa, high demand in China, Vietnam. Their meat is considered a delicacy, and their scales are used for traditional medicine and folks remedies. They're grown in illegal trades. Um, yeah, bats to another animal, either snakes or the pangolins, to humans, probably through the food market. And what is that? How do you say it? Wuhan, China. Wuhan, China. And it hasn't killed an animal yet. And the cough or sneeze is how humans develop to spread. It moves through the air. Older men are susceptible. Over 2/3 of a group were all men. There's no cure as of yet. Get vaccine as usual, which I personally think they have something in the vaccines themselves. That's just me. Preventions: wash your hands at least 20 seconds with warm water and soap. Don't touch your face, eyes, nose, mouth when they're dirty. If you're sick, don't go out. Cover your mouth when you cough or sneeze. Use disinfectants on objects, phone, computers, utensils, dishware, and door handles. And don't be a double amputee and have to crawl around the floor. Don't panic. I explained about the mask already. One said save it for the medical, and the other one says you don't need it. I guess it's not really that relevant. But wow, I went through that quick. It took me a really long time to get all this stuff on here. Right on. Well, have a blessed day, and I will be doing my other one on the cards here shortly. But this was kind of like my main important focus. So stay safe, and God bless all of you. And those that have it, my prayers are to you. All right.